Hello everybody, welcome to A to Z Learning Hub. Today we read about last session of a unit. In this session, we read some remaining fundamental units. In previous section, I have told you fundamental unit of a time, and the fundamental unit of a time is a second, and I have also told you one lunar month is equal to 27 days. You know, there are 27 nakshatras, and in each nakshatra, moon remain for 1 day. So, in that concept, in that view, we can say one lunar month is equal to what? 27 days. But we consider it as, there are some calculation, I consider it as 1 month is equal to 30 days. But actually, one lunar month is equal to what? 127 days. Now we read fundamental unit of current, that is ampere. Ampere, that is A. 1 ampere is that constant current. 1 ampere is that constant current which when maintained in two straight conductors of infinite length are placed 1 meter apart in vacuum would produce a force of 2 into 10 to the power minus 7 Newton per meter in vacuum would produce a force of 2 into 10 to the power minus 7 Newton per meter between them. You see, you take two parallel straight conductors of infinite length, and you kept in vacuum in 1 meter apart. 1 ampere is that constant current. You pass current through them. You take two straight conductors of infinite length and placed it in air or vacuum, and you pass and kept 1 meter apart, and you pass such amount of a current through it, so that the produce a force of attraction, that is 2 into 10 to the power minus 7 Newton per meter. That means per meter of length, they produce a force of 2 into 10 to the power minus 7 Newton between them. So that amount of a current which passes through two parallel conductor of infinite length of 1 meter apart in vacuum, such that the force of attraction between them is 2 into 10 to the power minus 7 Newton per meter, and that magnitude of a current is equal to 1 ampere. Its other units are 1 milliampere is equal to 10 to the power 10 to the power minus 3 ampere milliampere. 1 microampere is equal to 10 to the power minus 6 ampere. 1 nanoampere, very small current, that is equal to 10 to the power minus 9 ampere. You remember, these are the some sub-multiple of ampere. So 1 ampere is that constant current which when maintained in two straight conductors of infinite length and are placed 1 meter apart in vacuum would produce a force of 2 into 10 to the power minus 7 Newton per meter between them. Again I am telling you, you take two infinite long parallel straight conductors kept 1 meter apart in air, and you pass current through them. You pass such a amount of a current through them so that the force of attraction between them is equal to 2 into 10 to the power minus 7 Newton per meter, and that amount of a current is what? 1 ampere. This is the definition of a current 1 ampere and is the SI unit of current, fundamental physical quantity, that is current. Next come to your 1 Kelvin. Kelvin. Kelvin is a SI unit of temperature. What is the definition of 1 Kelvin? 1 Kelvin is the fraction of 1 by 273.16 of the thermodynamic temperature of triple point of water. You know, in water system, that is in PV diagram, PT diagram, there is one particular temperature. Suppose this is your solid state, that is the ice, and the liquid state, this is your vapor, water, and this is your vapor state, gaseous state, that is water vapor. Water vapor, this is the gas, this is the solid, that is your ice, and this is your liquid, that is the water. In this water system, there is one particular temperature at which, you see, in this line, solid and gas coexist in equilibrium, and in this line, solid and liquid coexist or in equilibrium, and in this line, suppose this is OA and this is your OB and this is your OC and this is your O, and this is your and in OC line, liquid and water vapor coexist in equilibrium. When you see, when ice is heated, we get liquid. When a liquid is heated, we get water vapor. And there are some cases when solid is heated, we directly get water vapor, and there is a particular state at which your solid state, your ice, water and water vapor coexist, and that point is called a triple point water, and they are corresponding to this temperature. This temperature is called a triple point water. So 1 Kelvin is equal to what? Triple point of water divided by 237.16. This is the 1 Kelvin. You remember, anybody will ask you what is 1 Kelvin? 1 Kelvin is equal to triple point of water in thermodynamics system or scale divided by 273.16. So triple point is that temperature at which in OA solid gas either in equilibrium or coexist, in OB solid liquid coexist, and in OC gas and water and water vapor coexist. At point O, all the three states coexist corresponding to this temperature, and this temperature is called a triple point of water. When this triple point of water divided by 273.16, we get 1 Kelvin. You know what is 1 Kelvin? 1 Kelvin is equal to Celsius scale temperature plus 273. Suppose you say 0 degree Celsius is equal to what? 0 plus 273, that is equal to 273 Kelvin. For example, 0 degree Celsius means 0 plus 273, that is equal to what? 273 Kelvin. This is the what? Definition of 1 Kelvin. It is the triple point of water divided by 273.16. Next come to your mole. SI unit of, you see, SI unit of amount of substance is 1 mole. What is definition of 1 mole? 1 mole is that amount of a substance which contains as many elementary entities or particles as there are atoms in 0.012 kg of carbon 12. You take 0.012 kg of a carbon 12, and in 0.012 kg of a carbon 12 we count the number of atoms, and you see 1 mole is that amount of a substance which contains as many elementary entities there are in atoms in 0.012 kg of a carbon 12. You take 0.012 kg of carbon 12, you count the number of atoms and that amount of atoms, that amount of substance present in 0.012 kg of a carbon atom is called what? 1 mole. You know 1 mole is equal to, you can say 6.023 into 10 to the power 23. ହେଇଗଲାଣି ଦେଖିଲୁ ଦେଖିଲୁ ଟିକେ ଟେଷ୍ଟ କରିବା କି So 1 mole is equal to 6.023 into 10 to the power 23 number of particles. Suppose you say 1 mole of atom, that means 6.023 into 10 to the power 23 number of atoms. 1 mole of iron is equal to 6.023 into 10 to the power 23 number of ions. So according to definition, mass of 6.023 10 to the power 23 number of ions is equal to what? 1 mole. This amount of substance, the amount of a substance by 6.023 into 10 to the power 23 number of ions is equal to 1 mole. So 1 mole is that amount of a substance which contains as many elementary entities as there in the atoms of atoms in 0.012 kg of carbon 12. That means in 0.012 kg of a carbon 12, this number of particles are present, and this, the mass of this amount number of particles is equal to 1 mole. Next come to your angle. What is one angle? What is angle? You see, the SI unit of angle is radian. Is what? Radian. What is 1 radian? You take one circle. Suppose O is its center, O that is equal to R, OB is equal to also R, AB is equal to also R. So, SI unit of angle is 1 radian, and 1 radian, you see, 1 radian is defined as 1 radian is defined as the plane angle, angle or plane angle subtended at the center of a circle by an arc equal to the length of its radius. That means if OA is equal to R and the arc AB is equal to R, then the angle AOB is equal to 1 radian, or we can say 1 rad. So 1 radian is defined as the plane angle subtended at the center of the circle by an arc equal to the length of its radius. That means if the radius of a circle is R and the arc subtended by this radius, that means this AB is equal to R. So the angle AOB is equal to 1 radian. You remember one thing, 180 degree is equal to pi radian, or we can say pi c, or 1 radian is equal to 180 by pi degree, or 1 degree is equal to pi by 180 radian. So 90 degree is equal to pi by 180 into 90, that is equal to pi by 2 radian. Similarly, 60 degree is equal to pi by 180 into 60, that is equal to pi by 3 radian, and so on. This is the radian. SI unit of angle, plane angle, that is the radian. Next come to your solid angle. Solid angle. So you remember this. Suppose you take the center, you remember one thing, suppose this area is dA and this is your R, and this is your d del omega. SI unit of solid angle is steradian, by you can say SR. One steradian is defined as one steradian is defined as the solid angle subtended at the center of the sphere, subtended at the center of a sphere by a surface of sphere, equal in area to the square, to a square whose area is R square. You see, suppose you take a sphere, and from the center of the sphere, suppose the radius of the sphere is equal to R. Taking this radius R, you draw a square on the surface of the sphere whose area is equal to square of the radius. This amount of area making an angle at the center of the sphere. So one steradian is defined as the solid angle. subtended at the center of the sphere by a surface of a sphere whose area is equal to the square, whose area sphere equal in area to the square whose area is r square. So one steradian is defined as the solid angle subtended at the center of the sphere by a surface of the sphere equal in area to a square whose area is, that means the area of the square is r square. That means this is, if this is r and this surface area is equal to what? dA is equal to r square. If the area of the surface is equal to dA, that is r square, and this radius of the sphere is equal to r, we can say your solid angle having each side equal to the radius of the sphere. That means this is r, this is r, this is r, this is r. So we can say, so solid angle d delta is equal to what? dA by r square. So one solid angle, so one steradian is defined as the solid angle subtended at the center of the sphere by a surface of sphere, this is the surface of a sphere equal in area, that means the area of this surface equal in area to the square. This is the area of a square whose area is r square. That means if this area is equal to r square and this is your radius, then one steradian, the d omega is equal to what? dA by r square. That means you can say r square by r square, that is equal to 1. So this is one steradian. Next come to your last, that is your luminous intensity. What is luminous intensity? You see, suppose this is a ball. Suppose you take a 60 power ball and take a 100 power ball. So the luminous intensity of 100 power must be greater than 60 power. So this is the luminous intensity. Luminous intensity, SI unit of luminous intensity is candela. Is what? Candela. What is one candela? One candela is the luminous intensity. One candela is the luminous intensity in a given direction, in a given direction of a source, in a given direction of a source that emits monochromatic radiation, of frequency 540 into 10 to the power 12 hertz, and that has a radiant intensity, and that has the radiant intensity in the direction of 1 by 683 watt per steradian. You see, what is its definition? One candela, suppose you take a source, it is the source which produces light. This is a source. One candela is the luminous intensity in a given direction of a source which emits monochromatic radiation. Monochromatic radiation, that means the radiation has a single wavelength. Monochromatic, mono means single wavelength or single color. That emits a radiation of monochromatic radiation of a frequency 540 into 10 to the power 12 hertz. This amount of frequency, suppose this is a source and this is in a given direction. In this direction, a monochromatic radiation is coming, whose frequency is 540 into 10 to the power 12 hertz. And that is the radiant intensity. In this radiation has an intensity in the direction of 1 by 683 watt per steradian. Per steradian, you know steradian is the solid angle. If you get, it has this intensity, this radiation has a intensity of certain watt, and the amount of radiation by intensity, radiant intensity divided by 163 watt per steradian. Per steradian means per solid angle. Suppose in this amount of a solid angle, a certain amount of radiant energy is going. So for a single solid angle, the amount of radiant intensity is called what? 1 steradian. Suppose you take one source, from this source in a given direction, a monochromatic radiation is going, and whose frequency you remember 540 into 10 to the power 12 hertz. In this direction, a monochromatic radiation is going, whose intensity, whose frequency is 540 into 10 to the power 12 hertz. And you see, this frequency or this radiation has a certain radiant intensity. It is measured in term of watt. And in suppose this intensity, this radiant intensity is going through by covering through certain solid angle, and suppose in that solid angle, that angle, the radiant intensity is going, and when that radiant intensity is divided by 683, then we get that the amount of radiant intensity, that is the amount of radiant intensity divided by one candela. One candela is equal to radiant intensity divided by 683. 683, when you divided by this factor, we get this one, the amount of radiant intensity. This is equal to 1 candela. So 1 candela is the luminous intensity in a given direction of a source that emits a monochromatic radiation of frequency 540 into 10 to the power 12 hertz, and that has a radiant intensity in the direction of 1 by 683 watt per steradian. That means when you divided by that radiant intensity by this factor, we get the amount of the amount of radiant intensity divided by 683 is equal to 1 candela. 1 candela is the unit of luminous intensity. So 1 candela is the luminous intensity in a given direction of a source, in a given direction of a source that emits a monochromatic radiations, that means a radiation having single wavelength or single color of a frequency, this you remember 540 into 10 to the power 12 hertz. That means this radiation is coming in this direction and it is at a frequency this, and when this radiation has certain radiant energy, and when divide this radiant energy by this factor, that amount of luminous intensity is equal to 1 candela. 1 candela is that amount of radiant intensity by 683. That is this amount of this watt per steradian, that is called 1 candela. So these are the fundamental units, your meter, kilogram, second, your ampere, Kelvin, your amount of substance, that is your mole, angle, solid angle, and 1 candela. So these are the questions. So you read this definition clearly. So if you like my video, please subscribe my channel so that I will be motivated to give you better and better video. For today, thank you everybody.